lions. They always tell the truth. This means that you can trust what a lion says because they're honest about what they're really intending to do. You just have to learn the lion's language. So imagine yourself walking down the sidewalk in your neighborhood when all of a sudden you see a lion. Well, don't panic. Remember, lions always tell the truth. So you got to look at the lion's tail. That's right, they tell the truth with the tail. Because if the tail is just out there long and flowing, it's a happy lion. Don't have that much to worry about. But if the lion sticks his tail straight out and the end starts to twitch back and forth and back and forth, oh boy, you've got a serious problem on your hands because he's no longer on a leisurely stroll through your neighborhood. He's looking for some dinner. So the first thing you look at is the lion's tail. The second thing you can look at to see what the lion's planning to do is look at its ears. Because if its ears are hanging down loosely beside its head, it's a friendly lion. But if the lion sticks his ears up and then pins them flat against the sides of his head, oh boy, you've got a problem on your hands because he's not on a leisurely stroll. He is looking for something to eat. So the first thing you look at is the lion's tail. The second thing you look at are the lion's ears. And the third thing you look at is the lion's mouth. See, if a lion curls one lip, he's a little bit irritated. But if he curls up both sides of his mouth and starts to show his big, hungry, sharp teeth, oh boy, you've got a real big problem on your hands because he is not a happy lion. So, you can tell what a lion's thinking. You can always tell because they're telling the truth. With the tail, with the ears, and with the mouth. And because they are honest about what they're really thinking, you can trust a lion. You can count on it. And the question is, can people count on us to tell the truth with what we say and with what we do? Now, honesty is not just telling the truth, it's also knowing when something is not true. It's the difference between what is real and what is make-believe. And an honest person is clear about what is true and what is false. So what I'd like to do is tell you two little stories. Now, it's up to you to listen to which of the stories is true and which one isn't. All right? So sit up straight and listen closely. Here's the first story. Years ago on the plains of Africa, young boys would prove their strength and prove their bravery and prove that they were ready to be a man by killing a lion. So one day a boy woke up and said, "This is my day. I'm going to prove myself a man." So he went out to go find himself a lion. He turned and he said, "Here, kitty, 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 kitty. Here, kitty, 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 kitty." And he waited and waited, and he turned around, and a lion. Now, don't panic. Remember, lions always tell the truth. So he looked at the tail, and it was just hanging down loosely. He looked at the ears, and they were flopped by the lion's head. He looked at the mouth, and he's just a smiling, friendly lion. Well, the boy knew that killing a friendly lion wouldn't be very brave, so he had to get it riled up. So he ran around in circles, and he pulled on the lion's tail, and he made faces at the lion. Well, yeah, that definitely worked because that lion's tail stuck straight out, his ears pinned back against his head, and he started to snarl and show his teeth, and the boy thought, oh boy, we've got a problem. Now, when lions attack, they jump into the air and land on top of the victim. Well, the boy knew this, so he got out his fists and he got ready. He waited for that lion to charge. He'd been ready for this, and that lion charged toward the boy, and just as the lion jumped and opened his mouth, that boy took his fist and shoved it into the lion's mouth, down his throat, past its stomach, all the way to the inside of the lion's tail. He grabbed that tail from the inside. He started to pull until he pulled the lion inside out. Now, all of that fur on the outside of the lion was now on the inside and began to tickle and tickle and tickle and tickle and tickle the lion until he was tickled to death by his own fur. And there the boy grabbed his lion inside out back to his village to show everyone that he had faced a lion and won. Now, don't say anything out loud, but are there any parts of that story that you believe? And are there any parts of that story that you don't believe? Now, don't say anything. Just sit there and listen while you hear the second story. Years ago on the plains of Africa, young boys would prove their courage and strength through an act of bravery. So one day a boy woke up and said, "I'm going to prove myself a man." So he went out to go find himself a lion. Now he was prepared with a large spear, very sharp at one end, very big and blunt on the other end. And he went out into the plains and he began to thump the ground. Boom, boom, boom. And he went over a little further and boom, boom, boom. Those vibrations would go out through the ground and stir up any lions that might be nearby. Well, it worked because that boy turned around and a lion. Now don't panic because remember, lions always tell the truth. So the boy looked at the lion's tail and the lion's ears and the lion's mouth, and boy, that lion was upset and ready to attack. So the boy got ready. He bent down on the ground with his spear. He put the sharp end up, the big blunt end down firmly into the soil, and he waited. Because he knew when lions attack, they run very fast, about 40 miles an hour. The ground shakes and the dirt flies, and the lion will jump up in the air. Well, that boy was ready, so he held onto the spear and he waited for the lion. And sure enough, the lion charged toward the boy. Faster and faster, he jumped up into the air, but the boy hunched down. He lifted up the spear and the lion fell right onto the spear and over to the ground. Well, the boy shook the dust off and he dragged the lion back to his village to show everyone that he had faced a lion and won. Now, which of those stories do you think is more believable? The first one or the second one? Well, yeah, you probably guessed it's the second story that's the true story. See, honesty is being true about what's real and what's make-believe. And when you tell stories, can people trust you? Or do they think that they're being fooled? Or do they wonder? See, I hope you'll be honest, like a lion, and you will always tell the truth, so that people can trust you.